A Russian serviceman who shot dead 10 fellow soldiers in the temporarily occupied territory of Zaporizhia region has turned out to be a former prisoner, Russian media reported. The suspect, Maxim Fedorchenko, was sentenced to 4.5 years in a strict regime colony. Later, he signed a contract with the Russian Defense Ministry and went to the front line. Killing one's fellow soldiers is nothing new for the Russian army. Against the backdrop of heavy losses at the front, the Russian occupation troops are trying to increase the pace of their offensive in the Liman area of the Donetsk region and are throwing even wounded men into so-called meat assaults.
The demoralized Russian occupiers are refusing to go into battle, complaining about the lack of reliable cover from Ukrainian drones. In order to continue offensive actions, the command of the occupation forces is using methods of pressure, coercion and intimidation. Lightly wounded occupiers are thrown into the meat assaults. From the report of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine on Telegram.
The colossal losses in the Putin's army are also evidenced by the data of the Ukrainian Armed Forces General Staff. President Volodymyr Zelensky said in an interview with Indian media that since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the Russian army lost 650,000 soldiers on the front line, both killed and wounded.
Складно воювати.
It is difficult to fight with Russia, where the law is that if you do not advance, they are shot by their own people. Russia itself has killed a lot of Russians. A lot of mobilized Russian soldiers were killed by their own army because they were afraid to go forward, to advance, to die under the bullets or be wounded. They ran back and got killed by their own army. This is their law. They do not count the number of victims. They have about 650,000 dead and wounded now. They do not collect the corpses. They do not take their dead people from the battlefield.
Putin is trying to compensate for the lack of manpower with military personnel from North Korea. According to residents of Kursk region, several thousand North Korean soldiers are already being trained at training grounds in the region. NATO is convinced that bringing in troops from North Korea will only increase the losses of the Russian army.
I can confirm that North Korean troops have been sent to Russia and that North Korean military units have been deployed to the Kursk region. The deployment of North Korean troops represents one, a significant escalation in the DPRK's ongoing involvement in Russia's illegal war. Two, yet another breach of UN Security Council resolutions. And three, a dangerous expansion of Russia's war. NATO calls on Russia and the DPRK to cease these actions immediately. The deepening military cooperation between Russia and North Korea is a threat to both the Indo-Pacific and Euro-Atlantic security. It undermines peace on the Korean peninsula and fuels the Russian war against Ukraine.
Earlier, South Korean intelligence reported that Pyongyang is planning to send about 12,000 soldiers to Russia. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Yulia Hranovska, UATV News.